For the most part, man, if you got, if it's some kids or whatever, there's young teenagers that's that followed my story or whatever, I just hope they could see that how easy trouble is, just so easy to get into, and it's so hard to get out of, and the rest of your natural life could be taken away from you by hanging with the wrong crowd, making poor choices, bad decisions, uh, and for people that's a little older, I know they see what they say on the news and how the media portrayed me, but I'm not that kind of person. I was raised in a good home. I ain't no angel, I ain't never been no pushover by far. But I'm not the kind of person that would take someone's life for no reason and for $10,000. It just doesn't fit my character. Growing up in my community, I'm from Orange Mound. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but yeah, it's where A-Ball and MJG from. Shout out to them, both of them my dudes. And in the environment that I come up in, man, it was either you got to learn how to swim with the sharks or get ate, And so I done been involved in a few situations growing up, where it made it seem like I probably was the aggressor, and I wasn't, I just always been taught to defend myself, never let nobody bully me, and it's just embedded in me, and so with that being said, how I react to certain things might cause one to believe that, I'm that type of person, but I'm definitely not. I never really liked it to play defense. I always wanted to be offense, and so I guess if I get that quick sense or feeling that I need to defend myself, then I'm gonna immediately try to steal the ball and off, and because I don't know, man. It's just me. Like growing up, you had dudes in my neighborhood, older guys that would, try to rob the younger guys. When we first jumped off the porch, getting money, and with that being said, I just never wanted to be no fool. I just never wanted to be that. I never wanted to be no prey or anything. I like to walk around comfortable, and I like to do what I do. So, with that being said, if I get the smallest of an inkling of feeling that it's an issue, then I'm gonna turn offense. I grew up, I had my mom, my grandmother. Um, my dad, he wasn't really in my life growing up. We cool now. But for the most part, my mom, my mom was she from that environment too, and so she always tried to make a way to get us the best of what she could possibly afford. So I think the few older cats in the neighborhood that motivated me to become, who I am in the streets or whatever. I think that was more of a motivation for me than anything in my household. If I was going off of motivation from inside my household, it would have been positive. My grandmother, she was a deputy sheriff for 20 years. Like I said, even though my mother, she come from that environment, but she wanted the best for me, and I was on the right track. I just got off on the exit.
What were some of the hurdles you had to deal with actually being a man of the house at an early age?
Just basically, when at times when my mom did struggle, because there was times where my mom, she would get into it with my grandmother, and sometimes we would pack up and she'd go get her own spot, and things wasn't as smooth as they were in my grandmother's crib. So, I think when I was about 15, 16, I started gambling. And I actually was a great gambler. And it led to the marijuana. So, um, I guess I called myself at that time, taking a load off my mom, because I had two little sisters and a little brother. And so, she had to make it work, for everybody. So I think around that age, I took a big load off of her because I started getting to it myself. Well, before I got in the streets, my plan was, I was very athletic. I wanted to either play football or basketball, and or maybe even, track. I won the state championship in track and Melrose, and so I just knew sports. I was into sports, and I knew it paid a lot of money. So that's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I got involved in selling drugs in like the 11th grade or so, and I seen how profitable it was, and I guess I took the dumb route, and instead of going to college, I just devoted all my time and energy into the streets. Man, just keeping the G with you at that age when I was young, when I got in the streets, I ain't have a plan, you know. Well, I guess I did. My plan was to make as much money as I possibly could.
That's a plan.
Yeah. That was my plan. And so anything outside of that, I didn't have a plan, So I just wanted to get to it, get to the bag. That was my plan, and figure it out later. I could be somewhere right now with 2 life sentences, So I know it's a God. Um, I know he got me covered, and you can't tell me that he don't. Uh, he knew I was innocent the whole time. Uh, the whole time going through that situation, I used to always say, I just refuse to believe God gonna take the rest of my life for something I ain't do. I just refuse. And I'm telling you, I used to always see it. I used to run in the ground. And and with that being said, that's how it turned out, So it was at an early age, like I said, because by me being in the streets and doing what I was doing, you're gonna run across crosses at an early age,
Right.
So, I knew what they were, loyal to me, what I'm saying, early on. And and that's like one of my pet peeves, what I'm saying, just being loyal uh, to a person, and I got, but going through this situation right here, bro, it's like it opened my eyes up, and I learned a lot, from it. And I think the best thing that came out of the situation was, it was a lot of people that I consider my friends, and I thought we had a solid friendship, bond, a brotherhood. And it's a few dudes that I would have threw it all away for and risked it all for, and they kind of left me for dead, counted me out. Now that made me bitter. It almost made me feel like, I wanted to basically start telling my kids that the word friend don't even exist, because I just got left for dead for some people that you couldn't have told me in a million years that they would have did what they did while I was away. Man, I can't even go to the store now. Like, people asking for pictures, autographs, and it's just weird. Like I'm somebody, and I ain't nobody. I'm just quit. I'm just the same person 46 years. I can't even walk through the airport, man. People asking for pictures and, you know, of course, you know, it don't offend me. It just make me feel weird, you know, and I kind of see how celebrities feel, real celebrities feel now that, you know, it's like they can't even have no privacy. You always got people staring at you, looking at you out the corner of their eye.
Yeah.
You know, if I was getting noticed and I guess people, you know, walking up, asking for pictures and autographs for something positive,
Yeah.
then I think I would feel different about it, you know. But by me being noticed and being, you know, sought out because of something negative and tragic, I just don't like it, man. You know, the internet, man. You know, ever since this internet thing been out, man, you know, it's just crazy. It took the world by storm, you know, and with that being said, man, you know, it's just a gift and a curse, you know, and man, I'm just moving through it, you know, man, just as best as possible, I'm just. I got a cousin, man. He always say, man, he walking slow, drinking ice water, just trying to stay cool. That's what I'm on, man. I just want to stay positive. I hope everybody let me stay positive. And you know, I ain't on no BS, you know, but you know, if somebody started a fire, I put it out.
If the Lord took you today and you had to leave Earth, would you be able to say you left more good or bad on the table? Would you be satisfied with what you left behind?
Definitely, yeah. For I know I left more good than bad. Anybody that know me, they know I give a person shirt off my back. Uh, if I go to a store 10 times and see a homeless person outside, 7 of those times I'm gonna give them some money.
Mm.
And that's not really a concern of mine because the people that know me and close to me, they know my heart. Um, can I be difficult at times? Yeah, of course, everybody got their ways. But at the end of the day, you know, if a friend of mine or a loved one called me in need, and if it's in my reach and my power, I'm gonna most certainly do it. And uh, if I was to leave today, you know, I'll be very, very uh, comfortable